Flexbox. Does anyone know what is Flexbox? This is not React, this is CSS. Silence. Just in the chat, anyone knows Flexbox? If no, just tell no. That's okay if you don't know Flexbox. Just I wanted to know if someone is already having some understanding on this. Because without Flexbox, you cannot design stuff. Like in the further examples, we will create interfaces. Like, so we have to understand the layout, right? The layout. DP, can you mute? DP, can you please unmute? Sorry, mute yourself. Okay.
Actually, not DP, Ram. It's Bhagwan.
Bhagavan, yeah. Bhagavan, can you mute? Okay. So in CSS, so first we have to anything like if we want to build something, right? So we have to have a layout, right? So we have to have a layout like this. So we'll come to React again. Like again, I will like give the brief in React. But just currently, I wanted you to. So from tomorrow onwards, I will be giving some assignments to you, and you have to complete those assignments. Okay, and I will give like small assignments so that you will learn. See, if I'm telling, you are listening, right? So that is no useful for you. So for example, we have like a layout, okay, a website or a card, a user profile, right? So this is user profile. So we have this user. So for building small components, right, you need Flexbox. You need to understand the Flexbox. So I don't know whether you heard this responsive web design, RWD. What is RWD? Responsive web design. Okay. So the website should change based on the layout should change based on the screen size. Okay. So if you see this, sorry, let me open any website. Okay. Some website for you. Okay, we already have this. Okay, this website. Now you see how the content is adjusting itself to fit into the window, right? So if you do like this, it is adjusting, right? So similar way, like this is called responsive web design. So there is another one like adaptive web design, but we will not go into in depth into that. Okay. So responsive web design and adaptive web design we have. So we'll discuss on adaptive later, but what is responsive? So when you hover, like when you change the screen, right? I don't know whether I have this. Okay, you have this layout, right? So now if I do like this, see how that is adapting, right? So when I uh, reduce the window size, then this is going up and this card is down, right? At some breakpoint. So again, if you go more, it will adjust based on, see, even the text is also scaling down, right? So this is called like responsive web design. So again, you have this card component, right? So same. So how you are aligning these elements, like card is parent and you have this input and button and a link and another button, and these are all aligned like this from top to bottom, right? And this card and this the text, the welcome text, or so here we have Facebook logo and we have some tagline or text, right? So how these are aligned, like in a row, we have this. So we have this column, and this is row. So Flexbox means you will learn all these alignments. Like, mm, so this is user avatar, okay? Like avatar means the user icon. Mm, Let me take some icon. This one. We have the icon here. Okay, in place of this, I'll add this icon. Okay, now you have the icon, right? So now, mm, like you will have some like some text like username, right? Username and his email ID here. Okay, you'll design like this. So the username and email ID. And let's say he's having some address like home address uh, and office address. So he's having two addresses, home address and office address. So then you will show two other cards. And if user wants to edit um, edit that information, right? So you will you will show some um, like icon here to oh sorry. So the problem here is we will, so if you have this kind of layout, right, how you will design this kind of layout. So currently the chat GPT and everything is giving us the layouts and everything. You can design and you can tweak the styles. But end of the day, if you want you to fix some small edge cases, so then even chat GPT won't understand. At that point of time, you need this knowledge to fix that styling or layout issue. Okay, so how you will design this kind of card? Like here, he's having some home address. Okay, I'm not going into detail. Just he's having some home address and office address and some icon to edit this here. So this is user card, right? So we use Flexbox in such a way so we don't give fixed width and heights. Okay, So if you don't give width and heights, everything is flex, right? So this card will be flexible if you downsize or if you do something. So you have to learn Flexbox to build this kind of layouts. So Flexbox is so what is Flexbox? So Flexbox means it is a layout, sorry, layout design system. Okay. So you can't have the depth, like I think it's 2D, two-dimensional, so that you have only X and Y axis. Okay. So you have um, in the Flexbox. So Flexbox is a layout design system. So it's a two-dimensional layout. So let me tell you the terminologies here. Okay. So so this card is there right here. This card. So this card is the container. Okay. So we will have something called a container. So this one is called everyone can see this. Is it too small? Okay. Okay. So this is container, and container will have children's. Okay. Um, like items, or you can call it as items and children's. So how these items are aligned inside this container is the matter. That is the one, like that is a flex box. So how you are going to align this, like how you are going to align these elements. Um, so you have a container and you have items inside the container. Okay. So you have these items here. Now I wrote like I have items here. How you are going to align these items? Align in the sense how you will position the elements in that uh, in the inside the container. Okay. So this one it is called item. So you will have something called, so again you will have something called main axis and cross axis. Okay, we don't call x axis and y axis. So we have, so I'm just telling you the terminologies here. Try to understand the terminology. So we know what is container and what is item, right? So now we will learn like the different accesses in the Flexbox. So I told you that Flexbox is a layout design system, right? Flexbox is a layout design system, and we will use Flexbox for responsive web design, right? That is called RWD, means responsive web design. So it's a two-dimensional design system. Okay. So how 2D, like you don't have the Z index. Okay. So there is no Z here. So you have two axes only, no three axes. And like so you have two axes, right? So one is main axis and other one is cross axis. Main axis and the other one is cross axis. You have to like understand how these axes behave. So mm, so let us call this, instead of item, let's call this child or children. Okay, so you have the container and you have the children's. So the children is an item and you have axis, main axis and cross axis. So what is the default axis? Okay, I'll try to give an example by coding, so then you will understand all these things. Okay, until this point everyone is clear, like the related to the terminology. Like the axis that is perpendicular 90 degrees to the main axis is cross axis. So here like you will have like 90 degrees here. Understood? So the axis like 90 degrees perpendicular to the main axis is cross axis. So by default in in web, okay, in web development, so by default this main axis is row. Okay, so main axis is row. In mobile side, the main axis is column. Okay, so we don't have like this. So here I'm drawing very short. Like in mobile side, in mobile development flexbox, so you have main axis like this, not horizontal, you have vertical. Why? Because everyone scrolls in mobile, everyone scrolls from top to bottom, right? So mostly in web development we have this large screen so that you can see everything, so that the main axis is row. But in mobile, you will swipe from top to bottom, like how you will swipe the Instagram reels and other like you will swipe up, right? Like you scroll vertically. So the main axis is vertical. Here it is horizontal by default, horizontal or row, whatever you can call. This is main axis by default. But in mobile development, this main axis is not horizontal and row. It is vertical and column. So you will understand what all these things, why I am learning, you will understand in a bit. Just I am trying to explain you all the terminologies so that once I code, then we will relate everything. So our focus is to design this kind of screen, right? This kind of screen. So this is all the knowledge now we have. We have parent or container, right? Parent or container. You can call parent or container. Anything is fine. And here you can call item or child. Anything is fine. Got it? So now you will have to learn all the properties of container, container and child. That's it. If you learn all the properties, if you remember few properties of uh, like parent properties you will have and child properties you will have. So if you learn all the properties of container and child, so at least today we will discuss the container properties. Okay, So most important is container properties. Later you can learn child properties. So I'll explain through the code. So I think we have that code, but let me see. Just a minute. Bye. Okay. So all of you understood the terminology at least. So what we have, what we need to learn. So by the way, in mobile, we have the cross axis like this. Okay. Same thing. But the main axis will be here horizontal in web and cross axis is vertical. So the opposite 90 degrees perpendicular to the main axis. So you need to learn all the container and child properties. So let me quickly create a new project, or we will do in the same existing old project by taking uh, React basics. Okay. A small CSS can also work, but I will tell you how to code in here. Um, okay, so we have this counter example. I'm removing all of this. Okay, you need not to have all this. Just an app component. You have to log out. Hmm. Okay, everyone able to hear me? Is my audio clear to you all?
Yes, Ram.
Yes, Ram.
Okay. So this is all CSS, okay? So don't feel that this is React. I know we moved like little bit fast in React, so that's why I'm slowing down for you to uh, understand the CSS layout design systems. So you will have one more layout design system also, grid. So if you understand Flexbox and then you will learn grid, okay? Then you will learn a grid system. So grid is also a layout design system. So these two are very important layout design systems in CSS. So previously we don't have this. When at least when I am learning HTML CSS, I don't have uh, like I don't have like understanding of Flexbox. Even they don't exist at that point of time when I learned HTML and CSS. So at that point of time, we have something called floats, and like we float the content left and right, float left, float right, and we have something called like we manage the layout by using tables. Okay, we don't have these design systems at that point of time, but now in the CSS3 they introduced this, like in the latest CSS you have these two systems. So by the way, grid is like it's a 3D, like you can also have the z index here, but grid is very easy, like if you understand that, but at least you should understand the flexbox first. And grid mostly you will use the grid to lay out the entire web page, not only a component, but you will lay out entire page. By using grid system you can lay out entire page, and by using flexbox will align the components inside that page. Okay, we'll come to this grid. We'll like in next classes we'll learn a grid layout design system. But now we use Flexbox, and we like let me recap. Flexbox is used for responsive web design. It's a layout design system. It's one of the layout design system in CSS. We already have grid also. So once we learn Flexbox, we will learn grid. So for that, to learn grid, you have to understand flexbox. Okay. And terminology, coming to terminology. So you have something called parent is a container, and you have children's, and what is matter, how these children's are aligned inside this parent. And you have two axes, one is main axis and cross axis. So how these main axis and cross axis are behave, like are created by default. Okay. So default, the main axis will be horizontal in web, and in mobile the main axis will be vertical in mobile side. Like in mobile development, you will also have the flexbox. So in mobile development you don't need grid system because the layout is very small, so you don't need grid system. You just learn flexbox, that's it. You don't need to understand the grid. There is no grid concept in the mobile development side. So you have the flexbox in, at least in React Native, you have flexbox. So main axis and cross axis. These are the two axes. And how the cross axis is placed, perpendicularly 90 degrees to the main axis. Now, so you need to understand the container properties, right? So we list down all the properties one by writing through the code. So is this code running? Let me see. So I'm starting the server. This is the IP in the URL localhost. So, okay. So you have this, right? So now what I will do, I will create one div. Okay, div. So you already have app.css, but this app.css is empty, right? So it's empty now. You don't have anything. Is our app.css linked here to app.jsx? Yes. We have this link import. So you have the CSS file and you imported that CSS file. And now whatever the styles that you write here will be reflected here. Okay. So I think everyone can see. Okay. So I'm zooming a bit. So here, so is dark mode good for you? Like, should I change this? Because while working, I will use dark mode only. And while like while teaching, do you want light theme for the Visual Studio Code?
No, 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 Ram.
Okay.
Black is
It's
very
okay,
good.
Ram.
Yeah. Okay. So you have this div, right? So a div inside a div. Again, you have a div. So this is a simple div. Okay. This is a simple div I written. So now let me see in here. Let me inspect. So mostly Mozilla Firefox will help in understanding the layout instead of Google Chrome. But if you see the layout, do you have any grid or flexbox here? See, there are two layout systems here, right? If you inspect and come to the layout, you will see the flexbox. No flexbox layouts found, and no grid layouts found on this page. So we are focused on flexbox, right? No flexbox layout found on this page. No, nothing. We don't have anything related to flex. So how to make this this as a container? So let's write a class like this. Class name is equal to, so you give some class name here, whatever name you like. So I will give like container like this. So you can also remove this curly brackets, not necessary. But you have the name, right? Container. So similarly, how I explained here, this container, this orange color box. So this is parent or container. You can name anything you want, but remember that this is a container. and you write it like class name. So now you have that class name, right? Container. Now you wrote that you selected that class, but you don't have any rules inside this class. I already told you the syntax, how you will write CSS in my very first or second video while I explain the CSS. So you just write the selector, and inside this you have property value, right? Property colon value semicolon. This is called, so you can write comments like this. So this is called style rule. Each line is called a style rule. Okay. So let me comment this entire thing. So this one also. So we'll write some property and value here. So now how to activate that? How to activate that flex? Here, don't see anything. Sorry, not here. Here, don't see anything, right? No flex layout. How to activate that flex layout? So you have this property, right, in flexbox, display flex. Okay, when you write like this, now you have the flexbox. So I don't see anything here because there is nothing inside the div. The div is empty. This div is very empty, right? Nothing is there inside the div. No children's, right? So that's why you have, like, if you see here, you can hardly see that. So here, like, you can hardly see, nothing is there here. But let us see this in the Mozilla Firefox. At least if I have Firefox, yeah, I will not use mostly, but if you are working on some designs, so this browser will, like, if you are working on issue, so if you are working on like if you are working on the design side, so this Mozilla Firefox will help you very much easily. So you can see this is more clear and nicer way than the Google Chrome, is what I feel. How to send this? So here you see the flex. Okay, select this. No flexbox. Yeah, you will see this right here, display flex, and no grid, but you have the display dot container, right? And here you can see the display flex property. Is very small for you all. Yeah, just you have to select here. You see this flex, the word. So this container is now flex. Now how you will, so let's create few items, small boxes. Okay, like this is box 1, box 2, box 3. So you can also create boxes with the different like div dot See, um, like you will get like lot of boxes here. I don't know why this doesn't give. At least I'm trying to show you a lot of boxes here. So we have different boxes, right? And each inside each box, I'll write the name of that box. So all these boxes are children's. Okay, box 3. So let me quickly do the same thing for everything. Box 4. So I'm writing some content here inside inside all the boxes. So these are children elements. Box 6, box 7, box 8, box 9, and box 10. So you have 10 boxes here inside this container. Okay. So I'll also write one more style called just box. Okay. So you can write n number of class names. So just box and box 5, box and box 6. So this is different, that is different. So for height and for same, I want all the boxes to have same width and height. So that's why I'm writing like this. So box and box 6. These are the two different class names. Okay. So here, first I will write some styles for box. Just the box dot box. So height 100 pixel and width 100 pixel. Okay. So you see the boxes, how the boxes are here. Let me add a border to this 1 pixel solid black. Okay. See all the boxes, everyone can see the boxes, right? So you see how they are flexible. I did not give like the here for the container. I did not give any width and height for the container. I only gave width and height for the boxes to just to show you like because we don't have that much content, right? If I don't give height and width, right? You see how the boxes are. It fits with the content. How much is the content? The width and height of that box is that much. Okay. So but here if I give this width and height, so now I will add some colors to each box, like box 1 color, some color. You can write any color. Okay. So like this I will write for all um like some color I want. So for all the boxes, uh like 10 different boxes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'll just rename all this. So you have box 1, box 2, box 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You have 10 boxes, right? So for 10 box, so you just like give some colors like red, blue. It doesn't matter what color you give. Orange, green, yellow. Okay. Like purple. Some random colors I'm giving. Okay. some violet or something, sky blue. So you have that color as well. So for each box, I'm having different colors to differentiate that. And for every box, you have set of height and width and the border. So this is border color, right? So box color. So I'm sorry. So what I will do, so I'll change that color. Instead of color, I want background color. You can write background or also background color like this. Okay. So replace all colors with background color. So now you see you have different boxes. So some of this is not visible, right? The box 8. Let us add the box 8 color to white. So then that will be visible. Box 8. Okay, if you want anything like here blue, box 4 you want color white, color white. Okay, so some of them, okay, you are able to see, but now you can see, right, we have different boxes, and you can see here the container is this. So you have this flex, right? So when I click on this flex, this container is getting selected. The container, this is the container. And when I zoom here, see, now what is the width of that container? 800, right here, 800, this container width. So when I do like this, you see how the width is changing, 954. This is flexible, right? So when I go here, the width of the container is 424 and 102 is the height. Got it? So now I told you, right, why this all the items. So you have these items, flex items until 10. So why these items are arranged horizontally? Why? Because here I told you that the main axis will be horizontal, right, by default. So that means whatever the items that you see, right, all the items, I'm just removing this, all the items are placed on this x-axis or main axis in this manner by default. You see, that's why here we see this layout. If you don't add flex, okay, let us remove this flex. Now how they are? Because they are block elements, right? The display is block. What is block level element? I told you in the very first day. Block means it will not allow other elements. It will not allow other elements to sit beside. See, now see, this box 1 is taking entire width. So it is pushing other boxes to downwards. This is called block level element. But when I change this display property to flex, right? I change this display property to flex like this. Now what happens? By default, the main axis is horizontal in web. So if you write this display property as flex, okay, this is the first and foremost property of the container that you have to learn. Okay, so you are trying to learn the flex properties of the container, right? So display flex is one of the property of the container. These are all the container properties. Okay, display flex. So you will activate the flex of that container so that a main axis and cross axis will get created. So what is the default the main axis default like how it is placed by default? It is placed in horizontal. So all the children's inside that container since this container is flex, right? So we activated the display property of this container is flex. So this main axis and cross axis are get created. You cannot see the main axis and cross axis here, guys. Why? You just need to imagine how this main axis is there. By default, the main axis will be horizontal, right? So that's why all the children's inside the main axis, sorry, inside the container will be placed um, on top of this axis. So that's why you are seeing like this horizontal. All so now here you have a main axis. Imagine a main axis here. Okay. So you have this property called display flex. Now you will have flex direction. The second property is flex direction. Row. Okay. So by default, the flex direction is row. You need not to mention it.